You cannot be married and acting single. The two do not go together. That's like trying to mix oil and water. The two just won't blend. It's not going to work. In this video, I will be sharing with you 14 signs that you are married and acting single. Also, at the end of the video, I will be sharing with you some tips on how to build a stronger relationship if you find yourself doing these things in your marriage coming right up. Welcome back to our channel. I am Doran. This is Not Easily Broken. On our channel, we're all about helping you to build stronger marriages and stronger relationships. We believe in the principle that helps you to make a marriage and a relationship work. Let's get right into this video. When you decide to get married, you acknowledge that some of the things that you used to do when you were single is not going to work in the marriage. That is one of the reasons for getting married. You want to leave that single life and you now want to be in a covenant relationship. You want to be in a committed relationship with the man or the woman that you love. Some people get married and they never transition from the single life. Guys, listen. God did not create marriage to hurt us. God did not create marriage to harm us. When God created marriage, it was all about bringing glory and honor to God, and also for the two people that are in the marriage to enjoy and love and honor each other. Well, let's talk about these 14 signs that will show people that are in marriage and acting single. Number one, your goals don't include your spouse. Guys, sometimes I wonder if spouse forget about this part of the scripture that said that the two shall become one. The two becoming one. You're now in a marriage that you made a commitment to share your life with another person. That's what the oneness of marriage is about. That is what the leaving and the cleaving together and becoming one is all about. Creating goals to help you thrive is necessary, and it is important to a healthy, happy marriage. What is not healthy in a marriage is creating goals without thinking about your spouse, goals, visions, aspiration. That is really selfish. That is you thinking about your life and your purpose and your responsibility alone and not thinking about the oneness of the marriage. And that is not good for marriage. Anyone that is practicing that behavior, you are actually in a marriage and still acting single. So let's talk about number two. You act as though you don't need your spouse. Of course, you're independent and you want to take care of yourself. But it's important for you to know that there's nothing that brings honor to your spouse than to know that you can rely on them. Marriage is two people really coming together and working together and building a wonderful relationship together. Listen, how do you love? You don't love where you get, you love where you give. The true essence of love is not what you get from it, it is what you give to it. And so when your spouse is asking you, what do you need? Honey, how can I help you? Do you need anything? It is a sign that they're trying to show love to you. Because when they show love to you, when they serve you, it makes them feel good. It makes them feel love. It is the reason why people like to give. Because when you give, you feel better about yourself. So listen, don't be so independent that you prevent your spouse from adding value to your life. Don't be so independent that you don't allow your spouse to do things for you that make them feel good. Marriage is about caring and sharing. Sharing and caring. And the best way to show your spouse that you care about them is by doing things for them. And so please, don't be so independent that you don't allow your spouse to serve you and honor you in the marriage. Number three, making major money moves without your spouse's knowledge. Oh my God. No spouse should make any major financial decision in the marriage without consulting their spouse. Listen, this is a recipe for disaster. See, you can't go out and just buy what you want just because you're working your money. No, when you get married, The two of you are now working together as a team. You are a partner. Whatever you make belongs to the family. Whatever they make belongs to the family. And you bring your resources together for the greater good of the marriage. Now, of course, if you go and buy a Starbucks coffee here, or you buy a little miscellaneous thing here, we're not talking about those little minor things. We're talking about major purchases. We're talking about you taking out a car loan without consulting your spouse. We're talking about you buying a motorcycle. We're talking about you buying a $5,000 TV without consulting whether there was money there to buy it or not. We are talking about you co-signing for your mother, your family member, doing for your friends. You know, it's crazy some of the things that people do while they are in marriage. And let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, that financial situations, financial problems is the second cause of divorce in America or in the world. So it's important for you not to make any type of major financial decision that will impact the marriage in a negative way. See, what you need to realize, ladies and gentlemen, that whatever you do, it's either going to affect the marriage in a positive way or in a negative way. With your finances, it's the same thing. When you come together in a marriage, whether you want to believe it or not, you merge your debt together also. And that is the truth. And so please, if you're married and you're doing things by yourself and you're not thinking about how it's affecting the relationship, it is time for you to stop, because that's going to definitely hurt your marriage. Number 4, your friends come first. No, they don't. Not that mindset in a marriage. When you get married, your spouse comes first. Your spouse is supposed to be your top priority. Not even your children comes before your spouse. That is one of the main reasons that after you raise your kids and your home become an empty nester, you don't know how to coexist in a marriage anymore, because everything was all intertwined and connected with the children, and you didn't spend time to really get to learn and to love and to honor your spouse. Listen, your friends does not come first when you get married. Of course, you need time by yourself with your friends. We're not saying that you can't have friends. We're not saying that you can't hang out with your boys or with your girlfriend. What we're saying, you can't make them the top priority. Not your mother, not your father, not your sister, not your brother, not your dogs, not your cat. None of them is more important than your spouse. That is the reason why you leave and cleave. You have got to change that single mindset, and for every time that somebody wants to do something, you just drop what you're doing for your wife, for your husband, and you go run and do it. There are family members that will manipulate you. They know you have a kind heart, and they will milk you, they will pimp you, they will ask you for money, they will do everything without considering the fact that you're married and you have a responsibility and a family of your own. That is the living truth. That's the God Almighty truth, and somebody need to listen to what I'm saying. If you keep up that thing, sooner or later, you ain't gonna have no marriage. So let's move right along. Number 5, you don't do check-in. Listen, guys, we know that you're grown and you want to do whatever you want to do, but let me tell you something. When you get married, it's the two people working together to build a successful marriage. It takes two people. It takes two individuals coming together to build a successful marriage. Guys, in marriage, it's really about common courtesy and respect. You know, think about it. If you're going out, tell your wife you're going out. Tell your husband that you're going out. Honey, I'm not home. Honey, I'm going to the ballpark. Honey, I'm going to the restaurant. Honey, I'm going to hang out at the mall. Honey, I am going to the gym. Honey, I'll be back. Because the truth be told, it's not about them micromanaging you and putting you under a microscope or putting a GPS system to track wherever you are. It is just common courtesy that if you're leaving the house, you tell your spouse where you're going. If you're going to be late and you're going to miss dinner, tell your wife, tell your husband that you're not going to make it home in time for dinner, so they know exactly where you are. I've learned something in my marriage that, listen, you must treat your spouse the way you want to be treated. That's just the way it is. When you get married, you begin to realize that your mindset and your attitude has to change in order for your marriage to be successful. Number 6, you are active on social media, but nobody knows that you are married. Now here's my thought process on this. If you have a business page, and you're promoting your business, you're building your brand, then I'm not expecting you to be putting up your married picture and your honeymoon, your date night, your Valentine gifts, and all that kind of stuff that you're doing. But if you have a regular Facebook page, a regular social media page, I don't see the reason why you can't feature your wife on there. I don't see the reason why you can't feature your husband on there. Think about it. You know, if you're liking everybody picture, you're liking women in half naked clothes pictures, you're liking people flashing their booty, you're liking men that dress up nice and sexy and showing their abs, you can like your husband picture too. You can like your wife picture too. Now, if a person does not necessarily use social media all the time, then I don't really see the need for them to do that. But if you're one of those people that as soon as you wake up in the morning, before you pray and thank God and give God praise for waking you up and give you another day, the first thing you reach for is your phone or your computer or whatever it is to check your social media status, then the question is, how comes nobody know that you're married? That's just my opinion about it. Let's move right along. Number 7, you are putting yourself in tempting situation. Guys, let me tell you something. When you are married, you can't just go out and just do whatever you want. You can't go out and hang out with your single friends, especially of the opposite sex. You cannot go as a married woman hanging out with your male friends by yourself. You can't just go hang out with your girlfriends by yourself as a husband. The reality is that there are a lot of temptation out there. You can't go clubbing by yourself when you're married. First of all, there's nothing good that happens at a club. It's liquor, half-naked women, horny men, and you know exactly what's going to go down there. Somebody's going to be flirting, somebody's going to act up, somebody's going to lose their consciousness while they're drinking and act crazy. And the last thing you want to do is to put yourself in a situation where you have to compromise your character and your integrity because you could not practice self-control. And we have seen it happens over and over and over again in relationships and in marriage. You have got to be serious about setting boundaries that protect you and protect your spouse. The Bible says you must resist the devil and he will flee from you. Not negotiate with him. Resist him. Don't go there. Get out of there. Go home. Go make love to your wife. Go make love to your husband. Keep your mind pure and don't be doing things that is going to bring dishonor to your marriage and to your relationship. Number 8, you choose not to wear your wedding ring. Now, let me just say this. You don't have to always have your wedding band on. Listen, I don't often wear mine. Sometimes I'm doing things around the house and I forget to put it on when I'm done, okay? I get that. Maybe you're working with stuff that's gonna mess up your diamond or whatever the case may be. So you take it off to do what you gotta do. I get that. Sometimes you dress and you go out of the house without putting on your wedding band. Here is the problem. You have on your wedding band, you get dressed to go somewhere, and you take off your wedding band and leave it at home, or you take it off when you get to where you're going and put it in your bag. That is deceptive. That is not good. That is a sign that you don't want anybody to know that you are married. That is so wrong. I have a problem with men that do that. I have a problem with women that do these kind of things. Here's the reality, guys. Your wedding band is a symbol that you are married. It represents you and your spouse locking together, creating a wonderful marriage together. That's what your wedding band represents. And when you don't wear it, it basically signifies that you are not married, that you're single. And if you take off your wedding band because you are going to be in an environment where there are men or women that's going to be flirting and carrying on, and you just want to be a part of that environment, then the question is, what are you doing there? If you have to take off your wedding band to be in a environment, maybe you need to say to yourself, that's not the place that I want to be as a married man or as a married woman. Number 9, you're having an emotional affair. Well, let me just say this. Any type of affair is wrong. Emotional affair or virtual affair, virtual cheating has become a big thing now because of social media, hooking up online with your ex-boyfriend, your ex-girlfriend, and all these different things that are happening. Let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to me and you find yourself in this situation, you need to stop. Anytime you give your emotional attention to another person other than your spouse, it's considered cheating. When you are emotionally involved, romantically, emotionally involved with a person, you're hiding your text messages, you are DMing, and you are doing FaceTime, you are emailing, you are getting up early in the morning or late at night, or you're in bed, you get a beep on your phone and you sneak out of your bed to go text somebody. That's emotional cheating. You are connecting with the person mentally. You fantasize about them. You're making love with your spouse and you're thinking about them. You're doing all kinds of things, all because of an attraction that you have conjured up or you have developed in your mind on the virtual platform, on the virtual stage, on the internet, and you cannot turn it off just like that. And now you find yourself gravitating towards that person. It's only a matter of time that you take it from the virtual and it becomes a reality where you're shacking up somewhere, having sexual affair and physical sexual affair with this person. The reality is that you probably think it's innocent because you are not physically doing anything, but emotionally and mentally, you have already done it. Thing just doesn't happen out of the blue. It's all a planned event. And we have got to be careful that you don't feed that monster, feed that demon, and eventually you cannot control it. And so if you're married and you find yourself in this situation, it's time to stop. It's not going to work. You need to end it now and put your mind and your focus back on your marriage. Let's move on. Number 10, you go out with your friends more than your spouse. Well, I know that having your own time is normal. You see, I've learned being a married man that you have to create balance. I cannot be all things to my wife. She needs to hang out with her girlfriend. She needs to go places, get her nails done, go to the spa, do whatever she needs to do as a woman to feel complete, to feel fulfilled, and to reset herself so that she can be excited and happy to come home to me. And the same thing goes for me. I go to the gym. I go hang out with my friends. But seriously, to go out by yourself all the time without your spouse, that is not good. You know, you make excuses why you can't spend time with your spouse. Well, the truth be told, if you want to build a bond together, a relationship together, then you have got to spend a lot of time together. And if you're doing these things with your male friends or your female friends and you're finding all the excuses to spend time with your spouse, that's not going to work. What if spending quality time is one of your spouse's love language? Then you need to spend time together so that you can accomplish that. It's not good, and it's something that you need to consider to change if your marriage is going to work. Number 11, you use words like I, me, and mine. Let me say that when you get married, that language has to change. It's about us. It's about ours. It's about the two of us. It's not just about you. Of course, you can do things by yourself, but the majority of the things that you're going to do, you must incorporate your wife or your husband in your plan. You don't do things by yourself. You just don't talk about the I factor. It's about the us. It's about the ours. It's about the we. You are two people working together, building together. For you to be having conversation or making plans and all you're thinking about is you, that is just totally selfish. It is self-centered, and that is a disaster waiting to happen in your marriage. Change that language. Change that attitude. Change that mindset. Number 12, you express contempt towards your spouse. Rolling your eyes, deep breathing, tuning them out like you don't care about what they're saying. Contempt is one of the most destructive, negative behavior you can absolutely do in a marriage. It is dangerous. It is deadly. There's nothing positive about it. Contempt behavior, communicate to your spouse that, listen, I'm better than you. I don't need to listen to you. You don't interest me. I don't want to hear what you have to say. And that is definitely a fail relationship. Number 13, you're having a physical affair and won't end it. If your spouse is actively having a physical affair and they won't end that affair, I'm here to tell you that the marriage is almost pretty much over. You are exposed about what you're doing, and your spouse is willing to try to work this out, willing to go to counseling, willing to get therapy to see if you can salvage this marriage, and you are saying that you're not going to end this affair. Let me tell you something, that is selfish, it's manipulative, it is dirty, and that marriage is automatically is going to end. It's a matter of time before you get those divorce papers. I'm just saying, you are really acting single while you are married. It's not going to work. It won't work. Number 14, you never let your spouse have access to your device. Well, first of all, let me just say this, that nobody's supposed to be snooping around and looking at your phone. It's wrong. It's not supposed to happen in a marriage, but I see it happens all the time. This is my thought process, that trust is the foundation on which you build a good, successful marriage. No marriage will be built long-term without trust. I don't care what you say, it can never happen. And even with your devices, I believe that it has to be a level of trust. Now, for my wife and I have access to her phone. She has access to my phone, but I never search her phone. She never searched my phone. As a matter of fact, some of the password that we have for our devices, it's the same, just so that we don't get confused. If my phone is upstairs and I'm downstairs and it rings and my wife is calling me, telling me that somebody is calling, she can pick it up. I ain't got nothing to hide. It doesn't matter. There are times when my phone is dead and I need to make a phone call. I pick up her phone and I make the phone call. That's how we live. Now, that's us. There are times when she go to work forgetting her phone and she would call me and tell me to check to see if her phone is home. I would tell her, yes, you leave it here. And I don't touch it for the day. I don't feel the need to open her phone and search through it. I don't have the time for that kind of lifestyle. I don't have the energy to invest my time, my 24 hours, in wondering whether my wife is doing the right thing or not. It's her responsibility to do the right thing. It's my responsibility to do the right thing. And if I'm not doing the right thing or she's not doing the right thing, eventually it's gonna come right out into the open. We are all farmers. We are going to reap what we sow. I don't believe in snooping around. I believe there's supposed to be honesty and transparency in the marriage. I believe that each spouse must be transparent and open with what they are doing. I believe that husband and wife supposed to be the closest friends and more open than they are with any other person in their life. I don't need to hide my phone from my wife. My wife does not need to hide her phone from me. She have access to my phone. I have access to her devices. She have access to my computer. She get on my computer all the time. I have a Mac and she has a PC. I don't use PC. But there are times I have to go on there to get the file for her. She comes on my computer all the time and do whatever she needs to do. It doesn't matter. We are open. Our life is an open book. I don't keep secret. I don't need to. I'm just open about who I am and what I do. So you got to be careful, guys. Don't be snooping around, but you got to be transparent. And here's the reason why sometimes spouse look for things. Because you're acting very suspicious. Ooh, yes you are. When you act suspicious, then your spouse is definitely, you send up a red flag. And that's why they start to sneak around. And you have intuition. You know when your spouse is off his equilibrium, when she's off her balance. You know when things doesn't seem right, doesn't feel right. The energy that they're giving you just does not feel like what it used to. That's when you know something is wrong. And that's when oftentimes they're trying to get into your device because they sense that something is not right. Do the right thing, and you never have to hide from your spouse. These are the 14 things that I wanted to talk about. I know that you can add more to this list. Why don't you do so in the comment section? Let us know some of the things that people are doing while in marriage when they're not supposed to. Trying to live the single life while they're married. Let us hear what some of those things are. Before I close, I want to talk to you about some things that I do believe that you can use to help to build and to elevate your marriage, to build a better, stronger marriage. If you're having problems and these are some of the challenges that you seems to be dealing with in the relationship, here's a few things that I would like you to do. Number one, get help. Listen, marriage was not designed for you to build it alone. There are times when you have bad habits that you don't know you have bad habits. You don't know how to deal with some of those bad habits that you brought into the marriage, and probably you need a professional counselor, a mentor, a psychotherapist to kind of unpack some of the things that you're dealing with. There is nothing wrong with therapy. There's nothing wrong with seeking help. I believe in that. My wife and I, we seek help years ago when we were having problems in our relationship, in our marriage. Why? Because we wanted to get better. We wanted to learn. We wanted to be able to coexist in the marriage the way we need to. 27 years of marriage have taught us a whole lot. And one of them is therapy or getting help is good for your marriage. You don't have to wait until it's falling apart for you to do so, okay? Number two, you have to change your mindset. You have to change your mindset. You cannot be married and still acting single. You need to modulate. You need to adjust from that single lifestyle. You need to come together as one. Build a lifestyle that the two of you are going to enjoy. Keep building yourself, okay? Rebuild that trust. If trust is broken in the marriage, you have a responsibility to rebuild that trust. You have a responsibility to really work on yourself. Work together, rebuild that trust. And the only way to rebuild trust in a marriage is to first admit that there is a problem and do something about that problem. Get the necessary help that you need. And then your action must speak louder than what comes out of your mouth. You have got to do the work to show your spouse that you, my friend, are working on building and doing the right thing to help your marriage. Number four, make plans together and stick with those plans. Go out together, sit down with pen and paper and write a game plan for your marriage. Where do you see yourself in the next 6 months? Where do you see yourself in the next year from now? What is your 5-year plan for your life and for your marriage? What are you guys willing to do? What are some of the changes that you can implement right now that can help to change the trajectory of your marriage and your future? Write them down. Put it on paper so that the both of you guys can see it. You are on this journey, so do it right. Do it together. Number 5, find an accountability partner. You need to find somebody that can hold you accountable. You need to find a partner, a couple that you trust, that can speak into your life, someone that you can be transparent with, somebody that can listen to you and give you sound, godly, biblical, practical advice. You need somebody that's going to sound that alarm when something is wrong. The reality is that you don't have to do marriage alone. Matter of fact, marriage was not meant to be built alone. It was meant for you to build it with a community of people that you can rely on. Isn't that the reason why you had a nice wedding and you invite people to your wedding and you bring your best friends and everybody come and celebrate with you? Why? Because you wanted to be in an environment where you feel appreciated and the love and the care of those that you love was demonstrated at that wedding. Rely on some of those people that you brought into your wedding. Where is your best man? Where is your bridesmaids or your matron of honor or your maid of honor? Where are they? I thought they were special enough for you to bring into your wedding party so that you can glean from them. Finally, number 6, work on yourself daily. Guys, you need to work on yourself daily. You need to get up every single day and work on building your marriage and build yourself. Work on yourself and work on your marriage. You will not have a successful marriage without you being in it. You play a big role in building a stronger marriage. You play a big role in getting to a place in the relationship that you can look back and say, man, I thank God for the effort. I thank God for blessing us and helping us to build this marriage. I thank God for making a way out of nowhere. I thank God for helping me to be the best that I can be. I thank God that He's able to do it for me. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this video. If this video add value to your life, please smash that like button. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.